Hello, welcome to Two Devs on the Sofa. I'm Charlie.
Hi, and I'm Mike.
And we've got a very, very special guest today. But before we get to that,
Today we're in Spaces in Bath, right in the centre. We've never been here before, so we're having a bit of a poke round. It's really cool. They've got it's a co-working space. They've got loads of desks and space for companies as well. So if you're interested in looking for some space in the centre of Bath, please get in touch with Holly. We'll put the link of contact details of the team and stuff on this video.
Not just for companies as well, freelancers.
Yeah, freelancers and companies.
Arcade machines as well. So
Yeah, it's a really cool space.
a lot of procrastination opportunities.
Free tea and coffee and all the kind of stuff. It's really, really cool space.
Awesome. So that aside, we have a very special guest today. Very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks. So I'm Jack McConnell and I run Made with Fuel, which is a WordPress web design and development agency in Bath.
Awesome, cool. So thanks very much for coming to talk to us.
Yeah.
I suppose what would be really good would be to hear a little bit of your story. You don't really do naturally the types of people we normally talk to in terms of the way that you work. So giving us a little bit of background to your story would be great.
Yeah, sure. So I actually started a university course in electronic engineering, but I was doing like a bit of web design, sort of try and pay my way through.
Yeah.
I realised about a semester in that I actually like doing the web design more than I like the engineering. So I sort of quit that to sort of start my own business and stuff. Before that I was an IT administrator, so I sort of reasonably tech literate and it wasn't too bad. Way back, it's not like a huge leap from IT admin to web design. Way back before that, I used to do like web design for fun when I was at school and stuff. So I kind of just lost touch with it, and I got back in touch with it to around that sort of time, IT admin and dealing with a website company and stuff. And I just kind of did that and never looked back really. So yeah.
Awesome, cool. So in terms of what you do with regards to development now, what would be the best way to describe what you do?
So it's everything to do with WordPress really. So I split my time kind of 50% design, 50% development.
Cool.
So I try and do projects from start to finish, and it varies between companies that got a brand new website or want to redesign their website. Sometimes they're redesigning from WordPress to WordPress, or they're redesigning from a different system or something. But it's usually everything to do with WordPress. So I run a plugin. I mostly develop custom themes for sites, which is what the design part of it all is.
Sure.
And assemble WordPress websites using plugins and so on. So
that's great. So you obviously got to a point in your career where, with regards to web development, where you almost had to make that decision about which direction to go in. And obviously, I know that you wouldn't necessarily describe yourself as freelance, but you work for your own company in terms of working for yourself. What was the motivation that made you want to work for yourself over just getting a job working for like a web agency or?
Firstly is that when I first started, I'd just come out of sort of doing my uni thing and was trying to get some clients. I did find a few clients to take me, forward for about 6 months.
Sure.
And being that I didn't find that difficult, I thought, well, I think I'll be all right on my own. And I know it sort of might be a bit naive at the time, but it was fine. And I never really actually felt I had the need to go out and try and get a job as a web designer with a web agency.
So it just never kind of crossed your mind? You just thought, I can do this on my own?
Yeah, it's quite good in that I feel like I've got the ability to, if anything ever went wrong and within my own company I didn't feel like I could support myself and my family and stuff, then I'm fairly sure that I could go to a web design company with the amount of years of experience I've got and what I've done and my portfolio and stuff, and get a job quite easily, which is quite reassuring in itself.
Yeah, definitely.
But I've never really had that. On the flip side of that, I've done lots of work for other web design agencies as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they might outsource, some part of the development or something to myself. And
Cool. Do you generally do that sort of in-house for them? Do you go and work from their offices, or do you do everything like you?
Yeah, no, I have once. It involved a commute, and I didn't enjoy it, to be honest with you. I say commute, I mean like a driving hour kind of commute, and it's not something I want to do really. So that was quite a few years ago now, actually, and I have made sure that in my work people understand I work from my home, I work from my office, that kind of thing. So that doesn't really come up anymore. Sure.
Well, I guess a big part of that for you is obviously you work from or sometimes you work from a co-working space like this, obviously, hence being here. So how important is it, or for you to be working from from a co-working space and to have to build up a network, I guess?
Yeah, sure. So I moved to Bath about 5 years ago from Salisbury, which has basically nothing in terms of like co-working or anything like that. So when I moved to Bath, there was a co-working space opening up, and I joined that full time. And having been there full time and speaking to other people, sometimes there was other people doing web design as well. Most of the time, it was people doing other creative and tech kind of stuff. That was really helpful. That really helped. Not just meet people and get talking to people, because it can be quite isolating, obviously working from home.
Sure.
But it just allowed me to spread the word about my company and be someone that you could talk to. It's like, I need a bit of help with my website or something, or I just want to have an informal chat. And then as soon as that sort of happens, it leads to people hiring you. Even though I'm not there every day because I've moved to working from home 4 out of 5 days a week, I still get plenty of referrals and work through it. So yeah, it's been very valuable. I think co-working space is very good for that.
Great.
So
did you did you pick Bath in particular, like because of the ability to have like a co-working space and a network, or does that just sort of happenstance?
Yeah, that just happened really. My wife and I, my girlfriend at the time, just decided on Bath because we really liked Bath. It was a very
Lovely
pretty
place.
Yeah. We actually had a bit of a choice between kind of Bath or maybe like Winchester, and they're kind of very similar in terms of like the independent shops and kind of vibe of the area. And Bath being that little bit bigger than Salisbury or Winchester was just it made it quite easy.
Quite a blossoming tech scene as well, which must have helped massively.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a lot of like reports at the time coming out for how big Bath and Bristol as an area was becoming, and that was really exciting. So
that's brilliant. So in terms of, you mentioned obviously you're working 4 days a week at home, and one of the big bonuses I think, looking at it from the outside of working for yourself, is having that work-life balance. How have you found that in terms of managing it? Obviously, because you are your own boss and you decide when you work.
Yeah. So I've always been pretty good with balancing myself and kind of getting my head down, during kind of what I consider working hours.
Yeah.
So I worked from home for years before I then went to co-working space and so on, and then moved back again. So I haven't found it that difficult. That being said, it gives you a huge amount of flexibility for, being able to say when your hours are. So my daughter's going to be 3 at the end of the month, and like being able to see her come home from nursery like halfway through the day, or being able to sort of do work around her or be flexible about my work is just really useful.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know if that really answers your question.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it's almost, I think from the other side, sometimes when you hear about people working freelance or working themselves, it's like living the dream and on his beach doing something and like not really actually doing work. But the truth of the matter is you just have to be a lot more kind of self-regulating when it comes to working hours, and I suppose you reap the benefits as well, not having to have to do an hour commute.
Yeah.
Probably a big plus.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. It is nice not having to have a commute. Sometimes it's nice to see like other people on a commute, but I don't like doing that kind of repetitiveness of the same thing every day. So it's quite nice, and it, like I say, it gives you the flexibility to do whatever you want. So if I wanted to go out for a walk and feel like I'm doing a commute or something before work, I can do that, or I don't have to. So it's quite a big benefit, I think, is just having that flexibility of working hours. I'm quite good in that I always work 7 hours a day, so it doesn't really matter when I do it, but I do it. It does tend to be over the core kind of hours that you would normally do, 7 hours, because clients kind of are around in that time. If they can't reach you, then that can be frustrating, and you've got to offer some level of client services. But I normally work 8:30 to 4:30.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's nice. So I guess I'm really interested to know what the future looks like for you. What is it? What have you got planned? Where do you think you're going with this? With your freelance work, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So a few years ago I started a WordPress plugin called Better Notifications for WordPress, and that has been growing slowly. It's a side project. It's like a side business really, but it has been growing and it's doing quite well. And I'd like to see that grow more. I'd like to see that sort of provide me with a bit more income. I could scale back my client work a bit to focus more on doing that. I really enjoy working on that.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you've got the choice between working on something that you want to work on versus a bit of client work, which you don't necessarily want to work on, then it can become difficult. That's the only point of contention I really have actually in what I do, because normally I love what I do.
Yeah,
sure.
But aside from that, I'm currently planning a garden office, proper garden office.
Cool.
So that's taking up a lot of my time at the moment. But if I can be doing my own WordPress plugin, still doing some client work in a garden office on my garden.
Yeah.
Live the
At
dream.
the working hours. That's kind of living my dream really
Yeah.
at the moment.
Nice.
So.
Sounds
Awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming and talking to us.
Yeah.
I think if you want to catch up with anything else that Jack's doing, obviously you've got the WordPress plugin, better notifications for WordPress. He's got a great video on YouTube. He's got a channel. There's a video where he does a tour of his home office. So you're interested to know about what it's like to have a home office and the types of equipment you might need in there. Jack's got a pretty snazzy one, so have a look at that video as well. And yeah, catch him on Twitter as well. Have you got a Twitter handle?
Yeah, it's just Jack McConnell, or my company is Made with Fuel.
Maybe Phil. Cool. Awesome. So thanks very much.
Yeah,
And,
thank you.
Yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Great.
Thanks.
Cheers then.
Cheers.